Xin chào các đồng chí. I want to begin by thanking Communist Party USA for inviting me to speak at this important occasion. It is an honor and a privilege to be heard by so many comrades around the world. Please allow me to send my warm greetings to every comrade in our international community of communism. As we've heard in the presentations of so many other comrades here today, these are challenging times for the movement. The forces of capitalist imperialism wage not just war and oppression against the working class, but now threaten the very planet with ecological devastation, which is rooted in greed and exploitation. President Ho Chi Minh once said, in today's era, as long as there is imperialism and colonialism, there is still the risk of war. War stems from the very nature of capitalism and imperialism. War is companion of imperialism. Just 50 years ago, the imperialist USA bombed Vietnam in their own words, back to the Stone Age, sprayed toxins onto our farmland and burned our forests with napalm. But we did not surrender to the brutal onslaught of those illegal wars on conquest and imperialism. Generations of Vietnamese rose up and together defeated the imperialist troops and their puppets and gained true independence and freedom for our people. Unfortunately, that struggle has not yet ended. It is still going on, but on a different front. Nowadays, capitalism in general and imperialism in particular always seek to adapt to the rapid and complicated changes of international economic and political relations. Imperialist nations now use their wealth and soft power to sabotage legitimate attempts to build independence and self-determination in imperialized nations. If soft power is not effective enough, then the imperialists resort to destabilization, war, terrorism, and chaos from the inside with the purpose of weakening their target into submission. These battles rage through capitalist media propaganda, through social media campaigns, and through more nefarious programs of interference and clandestine meddling, which cause so many problems for the victims of empire. No matter what schemes that the imperialists use, the nature of imperialism has never changed. Imperialism always exists economically as a monopoly and politically as an opposing force to democracy and peace. If you are anti-war, you must be anti-imperialism. But this raises a question. Since the imperialists are so powerful, how can we, the poor working class, fight against them? My country, Vietnam, is just one country among many which have found the answer, and it's a simple answer. In order to fight against imperialism, to stop wars, the working class needs to unite together. Communist parties must be formed and united to build a solid mass movement which are collectively driven by class consciousness and scientific socialism. Only through communist revolution can capitalism and its imperialist programs be effectively combated. As individuals, we are nothing, but together we are undefeatable. This is why famous communists and socialists all around the world, such as Marx, Engels, Lenin, Mao Zedong, Ho Chi Minh, Fidel Castro, and so many others, have always advocated for internationalism. Being a communist and socialist means that you are also an internationalist. You fight not only for yourselves, not only for your own nation, but you are fighting for the whole of humanity. We have to overcome misunderstandings and build peace movements which call for an end to all imperialist wars and intrigues. That is why I am glad there are events like this one, forums where communists from around the world can come together to share our visions and our struggles, our victories and our concerns as equal comrades. Millions of Vietnamese people, including my own family members, witnessed the pain and trauma that the war brought to innocent people. But we did not struggle alone. We received material and spiritual aid from our comrades in Laos, Cambodia, China, and the Soviet Union, Cuba, and so many other nations where socialist internationalism had taken root. As a result of our long struggle through wars which we never wished to fight, we Vietnamese people have come to treasure peace. We fought enough wars to understand how precious peace is. But recently, with the rising new threat of a new Cold War, the future of the working class is at risk, not just in Vietnam, but around the planet. Cold War 2.0 is a fitting name for this new era of instability and imperialist brinkmanship. The Cold War of the 20th century never truly ended. It had just transitioned into a new stage of development. Communists and socialists all around the world need to be educated and prepared to lead and struggle in this new era. Organized workers' parties are a prime target for imperialist powers around the world because they know that when the working class joins together through class consciousness and class struggle, we are very powerful. We are the biggest threat to capitalism and the biggest hope for the oppressed masses of the world. We need to organize together and make real change. Remember that you are not alone and you must not act alone. We must unite into a united front across national boundaries to fight against capitalism, imperialism, and fascism. This has been proven time and again in Vietnam, in China, in Cuba, Laos, and in so many other places where workers have risen up in communist revolution. When the workers of the world unite as an organized proletarian mass movement, guided by sound theory, which is tested and refined through practical struggle, we win. And so I do have a hope that communism will win. But before I close, I must also address one deep concern which I believe my comrades in CPUSA share and which I believe you can address. Something that saddens me is that there is almost no peace movement in the USA at all, despite your nation currently being centrally involved in so many wars, interventions, and bombing campaigns around the world. Vietnamese people will forever remember the protest movement which sprang up in the USA during the Vietnam War when tens of thousands of US citizens protested against the illegal war being waged on us by the USA. And we are forever thankful and respect those Americans who stood up to support us in a country on the other side of the earth. I hope that we, the communists of the world, can build a similar peace movement today and demand that the capitalist war machine divest itself of the gruesome profits of war. I encourage the CPUSA and other socialists across the USA to come together to build a real peace movement, to stand against US imperialism and interventionism and warmongering, and to take a stance against the brutal war machine of the US empire. During the early 1930s, as the Nazi Party was coming to power, the Communist Party of Germany printed posters with a simple slogan, "Against fascism, hunger, and war." They were in the belly of the beast that was the Third Reich. Today, you are in similar circumstances. You find yourself in the belly of the beast, which is the United States Empire. I want to express my gratitude and my encouragement for American communists who continue to take a stand against fascism, against hunger, and against war. Solidarity to all my comrades in the USA and around the world. Thank you so much for your time.